Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley, and while we have settled into mostly comfortable sunshine for today, even a little bit of tomorrow, things start to flip to the summer sizzling side once again, just in time for that holiday weekend. If you have any questions about how this impacts maybe your neck of the woods in regards to storm chances, leave them in the comments. We are live on Facebook, everywhere you stream Fox 19 now. We'll go ahead and dive right on into that comfortable sunshine once again. Things are looking pretty nice. I mean, it's seasonable heat that we're tracking today, highs in the mid 80s, but at least we're seeing a lot of this comfortable blue skies, not too much to give you that first alert to. Now temperatures, yeah, they're in the low 80s right now, not too shabby at all. We do have a forecast high of about 86, right on the nose for normal for this time of year. And we do want to give you that first alert that this is very short-lived. Of course, we get later into June, earlier into July, and that's when the summer sizzle starts to become a little bit more normal. And so comfortable sunshine for now is going to be topping your weather story this afternoon because heat and humidity are building this holiday weekend. It seems the 4th of July comes right on in and brings with it the chance of not the chance for storms, but the chance for these heat indices to at least near the triple digits. It's not a slam dunk, and it's not looking as long-lived as the heat wave that we had just a week ago. So we're staying warm and getting active into next week, and so we will exchange the perhaps extreme heat for some storm chances in that extended forecast, which I'll have for you coming up in just a few minutes. Satellite and radar looking pretty good. I mean, you saw the new report on the levee camera not too long ago, just some upper level wispy clouds, and that's because high pressure is settling right back into the tri-state area. It's going to be bringing with it on the back side of this as it starts to settle in. You notice those orange arrows? Warm tropical air from the south once again, and so that's why we're going to notice not only those heat indices starting to get on the more uncomfortable side, perhaps oppressive side, depending your tolerance, but also the storm chances will increase as we head into next week. And for some of us, we're all too familiar with the heavy amounts of rain, at least over the last few days, and others not so much. And that's just the name of the game with a pattern like this. You'll notice if you ever have been on vacation to Florida or even the very southern points of Alabama and Mississippi, it's slam dunk sort of storms in which you have downpours happening a mile away from you. Meanwhile, you're getting nice sunshine. And so that's what we've seen in the rainfall totals here. Look, Fairfield topped out in June rainfall near 11 inches of rain, whereas a little bit closer to Cincinnati, it's CVG just under 4 inches, which is below normal. So we have a very wide array of rainfall totals for the month of June. And I think it's very normal to have such a wide array, especially if we have such a long period in which not only is the heat warmer than average, for lack of a better term, but same thing with the dew points. And that's what we saw, and that's what we're seeing in the extended forecast, which means as the storm chances increase, it's not necessarily meaning it's going to be widespread storms, but rather these pop-up afternoon heat of the day showers and storms that are frankly hard to predict exactly where they're going to happen. So you'll want to have your rain gear at the ready starting, I'm going to say, on Monday of next week, but right now you don't need it. Not too bad. 78 at the Lincoln Airport, north breeze out that direction, and visibility is looking good. We had a little bit of fog moving through the area earlier today, especially by the Lincoln Airport, and has since cleared. Now temperatures across the board, we've got the upper 70s to the lower 80s, depending on where you are. You might be feeling a lot of sunshine all across the tri-state area. UV index is on the higher side of the spectrum, so it's a 10. So while it is sunny, perhaps that's the biggest weather impact today, especially if you're working outside or if you're heading out to the pool, because it is an outstanding pool day. I will admit I'm a little sad that I am locked away in this closet. But of course, hopefully you guys are able to enjoy it, because once again, the comfortable sunshine is pretty short-lived. Again, the biggest impact to your day today, UV index of 10. Which for summer, for July 2nd, that's a win. We'll take it. If you're heading out for the rest of the day, your dinner plans are looking good, your evening plans are looking better. I'd say the later we get into your evening, of course, those temperatures will slowly just taper off and away from the middle 80s and down to the 70s and the 60s overnight into your Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. If you can believe it, we've already made it to the second half of the week. If you're heading out to Kings Island tomorrow, rinse and repeat. Maybe just add a little bit of extra heat. Am I a poet? You be the judge of that. 86, maybe 87 degrees, your forecast high tomorrow. Overall, not too much of a difference. You'll just notice a little bit of a wind starting to kick up. This will be from the south, and it's not until the 4th of July that we start to notice the heat and humidity here back in the tri-state. So today, tomorrow, comfortable, and then the 4th of July comes in, and at least it's going to be dry for the 4th of July. I know we've had some pretty unfortunate circumstances in previous 4th of July. You get the point. It's been rainy in the past, especially here in Cincinnati. Steamy sunshine is going to be your biggest impact there. Definitely stay hydrated and in the correct way. Stay hydrated with water and Gatorade too, depending on what you prefer. 83 for those lunchtime temps, and then the dinner time is going to be a little bit more on the steamy side with temperatures getting closer to 90 degrees, and the heat indices will be in the 90s for the 4th of July. Now your weekend, your holiday weekend, TQL is going to be busy once again and actually hosting FCC for the first time in a long chunk of time, and it's going to be hot. Yeah, we're coming off a high in the 90s that afternoon, and things will start to shape up to be a pretty, I mean, it's not going to rain is the good news, but you almost kind of wish it would at least briefly rain. Maybe not for a soccer match, but hopefully you're on the shady side of the stadium with temperatures like these, with kickoff 89 and the drive home not too cool at all, mid 80s and muggy. So hopefully they can bring home the dub at home. So the big story as we head into your holiday weekend is going to be what you see here, the temperature and the heat index. And what you see this, you're like, okay, we got one day in which we might hit triple-digit heat indices, and then the others are in the mid to upper 90s, and that's why we haven't issued first alert weather days, because it's not every single day we're hitting 100 degrees with these heat indices. Again, I mean, we're exchanging the triple-digit heat indices, the 100s that you see Saturday next week, for instead some storm chances, which I'll show you here in just a second. But at this point, we're starting to settle into that normal dog days of summer sort of pattern in which it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, you're going to get plenty of sunshine, maybe too much sunshine, before the afternoon rolls in and brings with it those pop-up heat of the day showers and storms, kind of like what we had moving through the area this last weekend. So one of those patterns. I kind of want to unpack this graphic just a little bit further, because I know some people might get a little bit confused by the data that you see here. So the temperature, which is what your thermometer reads, which is what the First Alert Weather app reads. It's the big number once you first open the app. That's the bottom line, and those are our forecast highs. So the top line is the heat index, so that's the impact of humidity on the air temperature. We also call this the feels like temperature, because even though on Saturday we're going to be hitting air temperatures in the low 90s, it'll feel at least 10 degrees warmer at times. That's the impact of the humidity, if you will. So I like showing that graphic because it tells the full story, I think, and because next week, while we are noticing storm chances, we are still hitting heat indices in the 90s. Once again, it's seasonal. I think we see days like this more often than not in July, especially the later and later that we get. So the storm chances, let's talk about it. The rain on the roof forecast, we've got spotty afternoon chances, I'd say mainly heading into your late weekend. Friday and Saturday, because it's a holiday weekend, we just want to cover our bases in saying, hey, it's possible. Don't be surprised if you get like a shower in one part of the tri-state. That's for your 4th of July and your Saturday. Again, pop up, not washouts, not really going to impact your plans too much, but it is possible. Sunday, especially late Sunday into Monday, that's when we have increasing storm chances. And because it's going to be warm, it's going to be humid, some of these might produce some wind gusts that are a little bit on the heavy side, and then just a good amount of rain as well. So your next biggest chance is going to be Monday. It's leaning towards the afternoon and evening. Like I keep mentioning, the heat and humidity sets up this environment for pop-up showers and storms in the afternoon. We might notice a little bit of a weak front trying to come in. It's not, the signals aren't really in my face quite yet. We'll let you know if that changes, but Tuesday, Wednesday, it's still hot, it's still humid, and we're still noticing some rain chances. So overall, not confident in when we can expect some relief from the heat and humidity, but at least the storm chances and the extreme heat kind of balance each other out, in which there's not incredible storm chances, but there's also not incredible heat as well. It's your typical July pattern. Maybe just a little bit of extra humidity here in the tri-state area. Let's go ahead and look ahead on your first alert forecast model. Again, today and tomorrow, comfortable sunshine temperatures, seasonable in the mid-80s. It's not until Friday that winds really start to kick in from the south. High pressure settles in, so you'll notice a lot of sun, more sun than not, I would say, for Friday and for Saturday. And it comes with the heat and the humidity. So let's get you into those storm chances, which they start, honestly, I'm saying late Monday, because I mean, look at this. This is when we have a good chance of some heavier rain coming into the mix, and maybe a little bit more organized rain as well, but we get you into your Tuesday, spotty chances, again, heat-induced, heat of the day, showers and storms, no washouts in this forecast quite yet. We just have more confidence in Monday's setup compared to, say, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Again, this is next week. Not this week, of course. Let's get to your 7-day forecast. Your first alert extended forecast, comfortable sunshine, sun and clouds, temperatures in the middle to upper 80s, given where you are across the tri-state area. And then Friday, that's when we notice. We're like, oh yeah, it's July, and it's gonna feel like it. The temperatures in the upper 80s, heat indices in the lower 90s. Not seeing any more of nature's fireworks in the forecast for the 4th of July, which is the good news. That seems to hold off into the extended forecast. Now, Saturday is going to be the warmest day of the week just because humidity is not the highest it's going to get, so you're able to actually warm up that air pretty decently. And temperatures will reach the low 90s that afternoon. FCC is home. Hopefully they bring home the dub. Sunday's also going to be hot and humid, filtered sunshine, so no storm chances really in that forecast. They really just start to pop up early next week, and of course we see those temperatures drop a little bit as the storm chances increase. So scattered storms as the Reds come home on Monday. And then Tuesday, the chance for rain just continues into that extended forecast. We'll see if you have any questions coming on into our comments, and I'm not seeing anything, which hopefully that means people are pretty clear. They understand. It's nice now. It's going to be borderline miserable for us lack of heat intolerant folk. I don't like the heat. Plenty of people do though. So opinions aside, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. Definitely stay hydrated. I know lots of time will be spent outside for the 4th of July. And even this weekend, it's not just a one-day holiday, especially because it aligns on a Friday. You might as well take advantage of the entire weekend and just make sure to do so safely. Once again, we're going to be watching those storm chances pretty closely as we head into your extended forecast. We will let you know if anything changes. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Thanks so much for tuning in this afternoon and have a great rest of your Wednesday.